Hello, welcome back to my channel. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like my videos, and please watch my other videos on the channel. The last update about Twist of Fate. A fight happens between Rhea and Prachi as Rhea confessed to all her crimes, but that turns out to be Rhea's imagination. Let's continue. Rhea tells Aliyah that very soon she will see Ranbir with her and not with Prachi. Aliyah says you're already working on the way chosen for you. Rhea says I got half peace by talking to you, and asks her to hold her hands always, and says nobody can stop me from reaching my aim. Rhea says you were right. Mom will get hurt when her dear daughter will get hurt. She says bye. Aliyah thinks that my brother is not the same as you think, and Prachi cannot live the life as you want. She says if I want to sit on the time machine and seize the future, then I would have seen Prachi suffering and crying for Ranbir, and how my brother was overseeing your tears. Abby is driving the car. Pragya asks him to slow the car. He says there is a limit of 180. Pragya says you are drunk and that is why I am asking you to drive slow. Abby says Grandma came after you went and was regretting not to give me money. Pragya says you came to pick me on her insistence. Abby says Grandma doesn't know that you were not at home. He says after Grandma went, He stops the car. Pragya says she did not ask him to stop. He says I didn't stop and asked the car why he stopped. Pragya says I got it repaired just now. Abby get down to check. He thinks that everything seems to be fine, but let me check. He checks and says that the diesel is over in it. Pragya asks how. He says it works on diesel and it has finished. Pragya says you said that you are my driver and you should have checked whether diesel was there or not. Abby says did you see the time when you came out of the house and see the environment? Pragya says you should have been careful that girl is going out in the night, but you were busy drinking. He says I will continue drinking. I am not a superman to reach you anywhere, and says your stubbornness and foolishness will take you somewhere, and says you don't care for others, but someone cares for you. Pragya asks for whom. She says who will get affected if something happens to me. Abby says me, and then says Sushma auntie. It started raining. He says Sushma auntie. He sees a car coming and asks the driver if he can help him with the diesel. The driver gives him diesel. Abby thanks the driver and says your owner has a big heart. Pragya smiles looking at Abby. He pours the diesel in the diesel tank. A song plays in the background. They sit in the car. Abby drives off. Pragya looks at him and smiles. Rhea is going. Prachi comes to her and says what happened. Rhea says nothing. Prachi says I am your sister. Rhea says don't be dramatic. Prachi says you were behaving strange. Rhea says Siddharth was behaving strangely. Prachi asks if I shall tell how to convince your husband and asks her not to take his heart on her heart. She says Siddharth can fight for a glass of water, but husbands are like that. They trouble their wives. Rhea says Ranbir is sorted and not like that. Prachi says he troubles me a lot and his latest demand is to tell him I love you in front of everyone including mommy. She asks her to give her some idea to fulfill his demands. Rhea gets upset and asks her to ask him not to keep such demands. Prachi says I don't have any option. Rhea says I will think about something. Prachi says you are very smart and asks her. They go to have dinner. Tanu comes to Abby's room. Aliyah says he might have gone to the church. Tanu says he might have gone to the bar and find wine bottle there. She says it is outfield and says what can stop him from drinking. Aliyah says where is my brother? Mitali says Abby has gone to bring Pragya. Aliyah says impossible. Mitali says she saw them coming. Pragya comes there and asks what are they doing in her room so late in the night. She asks them to go. Aliyah says we are not the chore people. Tanu says we did not come here to steal. Pragya says you are so overconfident and asks did you forget that you went to the jail stealing my purse. Tanu asks Aliyah to meet Abby and goes to her room. Mitali also goes. Pragya asks Aliyah what you want to talk to your brother. Aliyah says I will talk to him and goes. Pragya thinks that I will not get sleep until I tell them. At the dining table, Prachi serves him food and asks why is he not saying anything. Pallavi asks Rhea if Siddharth called. Rhea says yes, I had gone to talk to him. He was asking about everyone. Prachi reads Ranbir's sheet asking her to tell what he wants to hear. Vikram says Siddharth is working good and the company is having profit. Ranbir says that is really good. Ranbir throws another sheet near Prachi and signs at her. Rhea pretends to pick the spoon and reads the sheet. She gives the sheet to Prachi. Prachi reads Ranbir asking her to say I love you. Grandma says it is raining and she goes to see the rain. Ranbir goes behind Grandma. Prachi asks Pallavi to call her. She says Grandma becomes a child seeing the rain. Vikram says I'll go and see. Prachi tells Rhea that she will tell Ranbir what he wants to hear. Grandma dances in the rain. Ranbir comes out holding the umbrella and says he will get cold. It is the first rain. Grandma says it is fun to enjoy the rain. Ranbir says I don't get drenched in rain. I will get cold and sneeze. They enjoy. Pallavi says come inside. Vikram says let them enjoy the rain. Prachi comes out and says I love you Ranbir Kohli. Rhea hears them. Ranbir asks her to say it again. Prachi says it again and says only he can hear her. She sends Grandma inside. Ranbir asks Prachi to come and enjoy the rain. They dance in the rain. A song plays in the background. Rhea sees their romance and gets upset. Ranbir and Prachi were dancing together enjoying the rain. A song continues to play in the background. Rhea looks at them angrily and throws a vase out, but they don't listen to the sound and they were busy romancing under rain. Rhea takes the umbrella and comes out. Ranbir kisses Prachi's hand. Rhea shouted, asking them to stop the dance. Ranbir and Prachi looked stunned. Mitali says that she heard Abhi telling Pragya that he is not bothered and she can go anywhere. He is the king of his wish. And she says that he might have told her that, but he is his wife's slave. She says that she told this by mistake. Tanu says she shall have understanding of what to say next. Mitali says I told the truth by mistake. Tanu asks her to shut up for some time. Rhea says mommy is calling you and said that you will get on well. She says that she is very angry. Ranbir asks her to go and says your sister made me love the rain and made me realize that it is so beautiful. He says the first rain is like the real love rain and I am doing this with the love of my life. I am feeling every drop of the rain and tell mommy that I will not come. Prachi tells Rhea, don't say anything to mommy. She will get angry. Ranbir refuses. Prachi takes him inside. Rhea thinks you shall hold my hand and it will happen soon. And once you hold my hand, I will enjoy all my life moments and reign with you. Tanu says Pragya shouldn't have talked to us like that and shall be polite. Aliyah says my brother went to bring her back and that shows that he is concerned for her. Mitali says she wanted to tell this and says that she has a feeling that their incomplete love story is going to be rekindled. The love for her and restriction for us. She says we shall apologize to Pragya to stay here. Aliyah asks Mitali to go from there. Mitali says sorry, I am telling the truth. Tanu makes her go out and locks the door. She says if Abhi continues to do this, just then, Pragya knocks on the door. Tanu opens the door. Pragya says I have knocked on the door and I haven't come inside. Pragya says you might have understood what I want to say, as you have done planning and plotting all your life. She asks Tanu to stay away from Abhi. Tanu says you are asking me to stay far from Abhi. I gave you my respect on rent and asked her not to think of grabbing him. Says he is my husband. Pragya says I knew you would say such things. She says we will start the story from where it started. She says Aliyah had told Sushma when we signed the contract. Actually, our divorce haven't happened. So the marriage happened and its affidavit is also there. So your marriage is illegal and not mine. Pragya says you are trying to make plot on illegal land and asks her not to answer her back and don't come to her room with bad intentions. Tanu asks what do you mean? Pragya says I don't need to make you understand. Tanu says if Abhi was your husband, then why did you give money to me? I did not see foolish woman like you. Pragya says I don't want to show my right and the game which can be won with a small card. I didn't want to waste the big card. Seems like time has come to show my right. She says you got enough liberty. My rules and regulations will work from tomorrow. Aliyah asks what rules? Pragya says I will tell you tomorrow. Everyone shall be present at the breakfast table at 8:30 a.m. sharp. She says good night and goes. Aliyah and Tanu get thinking. Ranbir comes to the room and says he changed his dress outside. Prachi asks him to sit and wipes his hair, asking how was the first train with me. Ranbir sneezes. She asks why did you get drenched when you will get cold. Ranbir says I will be fine. Cold will go, but this moment will be for lifetime. He says he was with me and said I love you in front of everyone. Prachi says you make me say anything in front of everyone. Ranbir sneezes. Prachi says bless you and asks why didn't you like the rain before. Ranbir says there will be traffic jam and muddy pit etc. He says I loved rain when I saw a girl dancing in the rain and the water droplet was like the bouquet falling on her. Ranbir says that was the first day when I get down from my car and went to her. Prachi asks who was that girl? Who made you love the rain? Ranbir points his finger at her and kisses her in the mirror. Prachi asks, "Me?" Ranbir says, "Did you remember? I went to drop you home and you stopped seeing the rain and danced in the rain." Prachi says, "You were there." Ranbir says, "I didn't know that you will become rain of my life and shower on me." Prachi gets emotional and hugs him. A song plays in the background. Ranbir tells Prachi that he is scared of the thunderstorm and asks her to keep holding him. Prachi asks him to be silent and says good night as she goes to bed. Ranbir also goes to bed. Rhea thinks of Ranbir and Prachi's moment. Shaina calls Rhea and says, "I cannot believe that it is you." Rhea says yes. Shaina says she tried to contact her to invite her for the wedding and says, "When I came to know about you being in Delhi and the Kohli's daughter-in-law, I called you." Shaina hears the hotel staff knocking and asks them not to disturb. Rhea says, "You are in the hotel." Shaina says she had a fight with her husband and shifted to the hotel. They fixed the meeting. Shaina says she has flight to catch which got delayed. Pragya comes to the dining table and Chao tells that Shagun asked her not to make food, so she did not make it. Sushma comes home with Grandma. Pragya asks, "Where did you go?" Sushma says she felt good visiting the temple with Grandma. Grandma says, "I had gone to your room to apologize to you." Pragya asks her not to apologize. Aliyah, Tanu, Mitali and Taiji comes to the dining table. Tanu asks what is in the breakfast. Shagun says nothing. Aliyah says at least you would have made tea. Mitali says you called us for breakfast now. Pragya says breakfast is served at 9:30 a.m. Taiji asks if she woke them up to keep hungry. Grandma asks them not to fight and says Tanu brought you all in this house. Tanu says I. Grandma says yes. Pragya says I want peace in this house early morning and asks them not to make food as everyone have problem with their cooking. They record taunting the cooks. Pragya says Mitali will make breakfast in this house from today onward. Mitali asks if she is joking. Pragya says they are having food made by you since years and that is why if you make food, then they will not have problem. Mitali says I don't know where things are kept. Pragya says Anchal and Shagun will tell you. Mitali thinks to make them cook. Pragya asks them not to cook. Mitali tells Tanu that she should have fixed her salary to make food. She says I have to make food for 8 people here. Shagun says we are here too. That is 10 people. Taiji says Pragya might ask me to wash the utensils. Aliyah and Tanu ask Mitali to make breakfast and call them. Rhea thinks that she has flight at 2 p.m. and she thinks to talk to Aliyah. She calls Aliyah. Rhea says everything is okay and super fantabulous. She says I called to inform you something. Aliyah says you are happy. Rhea says she is going with Ranbir to Bangalore and she will spend some good time with him. Rhea says I don't know what to do and that is why I called you. Aliyah says you sent me ticket but you did not tell me that Prachi let him go. Rhea says Prachi herself asked him to go. Aliyah says Prachi will tell after few days, "Go and live your life with my husband." Rhea smiles happily and looks at Prachi packing her clothes and Rhea's smile vanishes. Thank you for watching my videos. Please don't forget to like my video and please subscribe to this channel for more updates and check my channel for other updates. Thank you.